Y'all, y'all, chat GPT said, danger, danger, stop, danger. Those of you who know that I am on a nutrition journey. And with that nutrition journey, obviously comes a workout journey. So I've been up in the gym just working on my fitness. No, I lie. I don't, I'm a work at home girly. I like to huff and puff in the privacy of my own home. Um, I really questioned how, if I was going to really go full mystical on that danger part. I digress. Anyways, I those of you who have seen my previous videos know that I have come into this new year really focusing on my nutrition and wanting to make sure that I am eating a balanced meal, not just meal, but have a balanced diet, I should say. And so with that, I was calculating, I had been tracking my food consumption, so calories and protein intake over the last few days. And today I was doing my calculations for my baseline estimate as well as my real intake average. So, with that being said, I did the calculations, got all the numbers, and thought I was in good shape, which great, awesome, wonderful. Then I went to ChatGPT to do the calculations. And obviously there's different nuances to these numbers and things like that. That's why because I've done some of these things in the past. And so I never feel like I quite have a good handle on things. So I went to ChatGPT just to make sure that I had everything. And so with this fitness journey, your girl is in her tracking era. Okay. We're in our tracking era. And with our nutrition, we have ramped up our fitness as well. So we're in our athletic era as well. And so I'm doing a little bit more just pushing myself a little bit more in the athletic department. And so I thought with where I was with my calorie consumption, that was going to support my fitness goals. It was not. It was not. And so I know that ChatGPT is AI and it has no real feelings and emotions. I get it. Okay. I did the whole therapist thing. I'm out of that phase and I just use it for, basic things. But I do have to give it credit because it really broke it down for what calories that I was consuming and what my fitness goals are. And I really was in a danger zone as far as the calorie consumption and then the activity levels that I was at, because I'm not going to say that I'm, at Olympic level, but I am definitely at a higher activity level. And so chat really was like, girl, you're at a deficit and not at a good one. You're not at a good calorie deficit. This can really impact your sleep. This can really impact your hormones. This isn't good. So you basically need to ramp up your calories to be able to support yourself, because you might see weight loss, but in the next couple of weeks you can expect stagnation, you can expect losing energy, you can expect your hormones to be impacted, and that is not the goal for any of this. That is not the goal. First and foremost, it's just to be healthier. Second of all, of course, I want to see the physical benefits, but first and foremost, it is the health benefits that come along with just being mindful with the things that I'm putting in my body and being physically active on that level, those kind of things. So after putting in my activity levels with chat, talking through it, and getting my actual calories that I should be intaking. Um, it was kind of surprising how many calories I actually should be eating to support the fitness goals that I have. And like I said, I have to give chat credit because she was like, and yes, it's a she to me. She was like, so how are we feeling about that number? Is there anything about that number that scares you? And I had to be, and she's like, let's talk about it honestly. And I had to be real and say, yes, not that it scares me. The initial number does, it's a little shocking. And there are some initial feelings of fear around it because of my initial ideas of what I have known about calories and weight loss. I am 36 years old. So I've grown up in the 90s. I know all about diet culture. I have been through that. I know when all of us girls grew up grazing, eating salads because that's what we thought we were needing to do, when we were trying to have the smallest butts possible, the smallest boobs possible, whatever, just because that's what the culture was. And so I didn't even realize some of the mentalities that I still had around diet culture and what that really means. No, even at this big age, you know, knowing that obviously that is not right, but what I'm trying to do and what my goals are, the mental shift that I needed to make, that upping these calories would actually support my goals and help me to not only nourish my body, be able to fuel my body, but not to just, get these, great, they're not even going to be great results because you're really just kind of sending your body into shock, and you're going to hit these crazy spikes and send your body into these different cortisol spikes and different things like that. But you might see these results, but really ultimately staying at this huge calorie deficit is going to end up really harming you in the long run, which I really wasn't doing intentionally. So I'm really glad that I was actually sitting down to do these calculations, but knowing that I actually can eat, knowing that I actually need to increase these calories to be able to long term support these goals is really what's in my best interest, and how I had to changed how that shifted my perspective. But also with shifting that perspective, that let me know that it's what's most important to me is not about, you know, she wore a itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini. It's not about bikini season this summer. It's about, okay, what does my skin look like? What does my nails look like? How is my sleep? How are my hormones? Like, I am choosing to do something physically and mentally challenging. So if I'm asking my body to support me during this mental challenge, how can I support it physically? So then we are working together, and not after this, we are sustained and we are healthy. So I'm glad I was able to talk through that through chat, but chat said something really cool because it then immediately I went into a leadership mindset, because it was talking about how, I was talking to Chad about working with my body as a team and treating it as my bestie. And team was like, Chat was like, that's exactly right. With your, as with you working with your body as a team, you're not going to bully your team, you're going to fuel your team. And I was like, that is incredible. That is absolutely incredible. And really what I wanted to talk to us about today, when it comes down to leadership, we need to sometimes we have these old outdated frameworks, mentalities around leadership. And I am reading Shrinking the Integrity Gap by Jeff and Tara Matson. And those of you who have seen my previous videos before, know that I'm reading this book. And so they made an important call out in this book that if we are not careful as leaders, that we will make the mistake of passing on previous generations' baggage, unresolved issues, mentalities, things that we do not want to pass on to the next generation. And as I was working through all of that with chat, that really brought that piece back to my remembrance. And so I really want to encourage us today that we need to look at, obviously, we want to look at our teams as our team. And we don't want to bully our team. We don't want to force frameworks that are outdated, that are no longer working, that are unsustainable, just because that's what's always been in place. That's what's worked in the past. So let me try to force this on my team. And so just because, but what things are we doing? What tools, what resources, what are we doing to grow, to ensure that we are always fueling our team, nurturing our team, motivating our team to grow, and so that they are well, we are creating these healthy, passionate teams. Because if we are remaining in these old mindsets, we can do a lot of damage. It talks about leaving, people in the wake of our leadership. And when we talk about leaving people in the wake of our leadership, those are not positive things, because think about your own experiences with leadership in the past. I have several examples that I can recall back to having unfortunate experience with leadership in the past that took me years of working through to be able to not even feel okay, but just to be able to get past that. And so if we're not careful, we really can create a lot of damage in people's lives. And so we have to be able to take care of ourselves inwardly, our mind, our mental, our emotional. So then the people that we are responsible for, the people that we're entrusted with, that we can really, really nurture them in a real meaningful way. And so I wanted to share that with you today because I just thought that was so interesting. And let's not get caught up in thinking that our team is little mini me's, because even if you've got somebody who's maybe similar to you on your team, who maybe even aspires to be like you and things like that, like they're not little mini yous. And I struggled with this in my leadership journey, is that sometimes we're very tempted to, take people and send them through the filter of ourselves. Like I said before, I'm somebody who's analytical, who's detail-oriented, who's going to show up, who's going to be reliable, things like that. So things that are going to motivate me are going to be very different than the things that are going to motivate somebody else. So I can't approach my team, the people that are on my team, the same way that I would approach myself. We need to know our team. We need to know what's going to motivate them, what has them getting up, showing up every single day, because those are the things that are going to help us be able to not only drive results, because we need to make it make sense for them. Because once we make it make sense for them, once we are helping them help themselves reach their goals, then we can talk about driving results and everything else. So we cannot send people through our own filter. you know, my passion is leadership and emerging leaders. I love to work with people who have a growth mindset, with who see themselves beyond where they are, who lead from the seat, who have aspirations just from, they don't see themselves where they are, they see themselves somewhere else, growing, doing, leading, all of those things. I love working with those type of people, but not everybody wants that, and that's okay. But that is definitely something I struggled with, because if you don't understand that that's not what everybody wants, then what happens to those people who don't want that? They can't make a contribution. They're still not a viable part of the team. They're not somebody who is useful or brings their own um their own gifts and talents to the team. Some people want to show up. Some people just want to come there and pay their bills. Some people are funding their own side hustle. So, all of that to say is that we got to get out of these mindsets and these old frameworks just because things are in place, especially, being a millennial and then having Gen Z come in and then Gen Alpha behind that. Gone are the days of just sitting at a desk and typing, just doing just to do. But I think with our starting with the millennial generation, we wanted so much more. And I think you see that it's more prevalent in Gen Z. And I think you'll see that even more in Gen Alpha. We'll see. We don't know. But I think being a leader, that we have to know that we have to be willing and able to pivot. We have to be willing and able to change, and we have to be receptive to that. We can't be stuck in these old mindsets. Just because it's a will doesn't mean it's not squeaky old and dilapidated. Okay, well, maybe it's time to change it. Doesn't mean we need to recreate a wheel. Maybe we just need a new one. Maybe we need a new style. Maybe we need a new model. So that's all I really want to come to you guys and talk about today. Yeah, I just thought it was interesting. And so just a fun way for me to just kind of bring this message. And so I hope that you learned. And did I even introduce myself? I don't know. I don't know if I introduced myself. Well, my name is Tiffany, and on this channel, we are learning how to lead ourselves well so we can serve others better. Whether you have been leading for 30 seconds or 30 years, I definitely think that you can gain something from this channel. This is a faith-based channel, but I talk about universal leadership concepts. And so everybody is welcome. And I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have not got a chance to check out yesterday's video, please do so. Like, share, comment, and subscribe, and we'll talk soon. Bye.